In this video, I'm gonna explain 4 psychological factors that blocks your English fluency. The last one is very important that every people struggle with unknowingly. Hi, I'm Sharmi Gloriya. English is my second language. I have been learning this language for 10 years. I realize that speaking a language is easy, but many of us complicate it by trying different things. So on this channel, I'm gonna give you simple tips and tricks to speak English fluently. If you are new here, consider subscribing. So let's get into the video. When I say psychological factors, it means that changing those factors or changing those things comes within. No one from outside is responsible for that. We are responsible for that. Either we have to change our perspective on something, or we have to train our brain to think in a certain way. So the change should come within. If we change those things in us, we can kickstart our speaking journey. I have listened and watched many English teaching or spoken English channels, but I never came across any channel that talks about the emotional things, the feelings, the struggling, the psychological things that we face when we learn a language. The factors that I'm going to share are experienced and felt by me. I have overcome those factors by just practicing, applying, and by self-motivation. That's why I mentioned the change we make, it depends on us. Only on us. I cannot change what you think in your mind, or the tutors whom you choose cannot change what you are thinking. No one can do anything about it. Is purely by you. Alright, the first one is fear and anxiety. So whenever fear kicks in, you go into a survival mode that tells you fight or flight. If you are brave enough, you will stand and fight for it. If you are not brave enough to challenge a situation or face a situation, you'll try to escape from that situation. The reason is fear gives a signal to your brain that you are in danger. It happens in the amygdala, which is a part of your brain. When amygdala signals your brain automatically segregates the hormones which will flow in your bloodstream. This causes fast breathing, increase in heart rate, you sweat a lot. That's why if you notice in a group discussion or in a place you want to speak in English, but you're afraid to speak English, immediately you will start to sweat. Your heart rate will raise. The main thing you have to know is both animals and we the humans, we have this. In the animal kingdom, it's very necessary for a deer to get panic when it sees a lion. Otherwise, it would be eaten by the lion. But in human world, it's not necessary unless and until the opponent party has a knife or rifle. As a human, we have to train our brain, or we have to make our brain to think it's okay. We are having the conversation, that's it. The person in front of me is not going to kill me, so it's okay. We have to tell the brain, and we have to train the brain in the way that we want it to think. So when we train our brain to think that speaking a language is not a life or death situation, you can overcome this fear and anxiety while you are speaking English. Alright, the second one is perfectionism. Perfectionism has its own advantages and disadvantages. Its advantages are you will have great ambition, you will set high standard goals, you will be well disciplined and focused, and you will be inspiration to many people. There are some disadvantages. I'm gonna explain only 4 of them. The first one is no satisfaction in what you do. Even though you put so much effort into something, or even though you try so hard to achieve something, you never get satisfied with what you have or what you have already achieved. The second one is procrastination. You will postpone your work if you know that you are not going to finish that perfectly. Your mind will say, somehow I'm not gonna be perfect in this, so why should I start? Why should I finish? Why should I do this? This thought creates fear and it makes you to procrastinate your practice sessions. It makes you to sit in a place and just stare. For example, you have set an unrealistic goal like you have to learn 1 hour English every day for 1 week in straight. So in the middle, because of some reason, you missed one day. If you are a perfectionist, when next week comes, you will say to yourself that, okay, last week we didn't finish that, we couldn't finish that, so I'm not gonna do this week. To get rid of perfectionism, I found a way that setting a realistic goal and stick to that goal at least for 1 month. It works very well. For example, instead of saying that I have to practice for like 1.5 hours or 1 hour, you can choose just 30 minutes per day at first, and later we can increase it. The third reason is burnout. When you are constantly working hard to achieve something and you are not able to see the perfect result immediately, you will feel like you are burning out. Sometimes overwork to achieve something perfect, it leads to burnout. The fourth one is low self-worth. When you see the perfectionist, you can see them like constantly doing work and having everything done. You may think that they are satisfied with their work, see how they are working and how they are improving themselves. But actually what will be going on in their mind is like they are not fit to the place. No matter how hard they try, they will always have a feeling like they are lagging behind and everyone is ahead of them. And this eventually leads to low self-worth. So this will leave that person in a stagnant place where they are unable to move forward or they are unable to initiate any conversation in English. Alright, the third block is lack of confidence. I believe that a child's confidence or anyone's confidence is it's mostly relied on their parents' parenting style. And mostly in our Indian culture, our parents are overprotective, all the time comparing our ability with other children's ability. There will be always like one-way communication, you do this, you do that, that's it. They won't ask how do we feel about something and how our emotions are, nothing like that. So this leads to lack of confidence, but actually we can change it when we grow up. The brutal truth is this becomes someone's part of life even after they are not under the control of their parents, even after they grow up and take care of their own things. We all know the story of an elephant whose leg was tied up to a log for a long time. After 1 or 2 years, it was released, but in its mind, it's still tied up to the log. The same situation is here. Even after we are not under the control of our parents, we still think that about the people's judgment, comparing ourselves with everybody, trying to be right all the time, wanted to be accepted in every places. This ends up in lack of confidence. The only way to come out of all these factors is the fourth point, shifting our mindset for our betterment. The fourth one is mindset shift. You might say that, oh, I am afraid of everything, I have this fear of judgment, I'm a shy person, I have nervousness, anxieties from my childhood, so it's unchangeable. It's what I am. If you say this, let me ask you a question. Have you ever said that my brain is only capable for understanding third grade syllabus and not moving forward? No, right? When you go to the fourth grade, you adapt your brain to grasp that knowledge. And when you go to the 12th grade, you are able to understand it because you train your brain to do that. You show interest to upgrade your knowledge. You try hard to go to the higher level in your working areas. It happens automatically. You don't say that, no, I am like this way, I will be stagnant in this place. You won't say that. So this is all about mindset. You can shift this mindset to another level in speaking English also. The best example is me. My name is Sharmi. This word's origin is Sanskrit language. Sharmi means shyness. I used to say that I'm a shy person. I cannot talk to anybody. I'm afraid to speak. I'm afraid to initiate a conversation. I used to say like this. But when I realized that we can change the character by practicing, I started to do that. I made my brain to believe that I'm able. Now I'm not shy to speak. I'm not that old Sharmi anymore. So you can get rid of your fear and anxiety if you are willing. You can remove the procrastination mindset if you realize that small improvements matter. You can develop your confidence by speaking even if you make mistakes while speaking. Showing up and trying to speak where you don't see a result visibly, that's what matters. That's what brings you success. So we have seen today that how fear and anxiety, perfectionism, lack of confidence, and the mindset, these are blocks to our English fluency. So I challenge you to remember these things when you start to speak in English. Train your brain to think in a way that you want it to think. You become what you think, you become what you speak. So speak good things about yourself. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.